Hi, my little babies. Welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Review. We're just gonna start right off and jump into it. There's literally no bloopers before this because this entire video is gonna be one giant blooper. And I'll tell you why, because I have no fucking clue what's going on. We're just gonna start off by saying that I have no idea what's happening in this book or the subsequent book that I'm in the middle of, or what's going to happen in the next 7 or 8 books that are already out. So let's just dive in, shall we? Because why the fuck not? Okay, let's get into it. I'm gonna roll up my sleeves and we're gonna dive right in because Candace ain't got a fucking clue what's going on. All right, so in today's video, we're gonna be reviewing a book. Duh. Obviously, Candace. Obviously. So we're here today to review a book. Okay. This is the first book in a series that already has several books out in the series. If I'm not mistaken, there's like at least 6 or 7 books out, I think. Don't quote me on that because you know I don't do my goddamn research. Okay, good. So without further ado, because I know you're sitting there waiting with bated breath, in today's video, kids, we are going to be reviewing the first book in the Elite Kings Club series by Amo Jones, and that is called The Silver Swan. Okay. Now, I read this book on my Kindle, and I listened to some of the audio. I did like a mostly audio situation, but a little bit of Kindle. The audio. The girl who voices Madison, the main female character, her voice was a little bit not like monotone, but on the deep side. So that may take a little bit of getting used to for some people. For me, it took a little bit of getting used to. There is no male narrator. So this entire series is, as far as I know, is narrated by just the female narrator because it's all from the POV of the main female character. Keep that in mind if you do the audio, at least for this first book. I can't speak to the audio for the remaining novels in this series. Okay. Just want to point that out. This book and all the books in the series are free to read with KU. So if you have Kindle Unlimited, free to read with KU. If you want to purchase this book for your Kindle, the price is 99 cents right now. 99 cents. That's a bargain. If you want to purchase the trade paperback for this book, it's $16. This book also comes in hardcover. And this is a trend that I'm noticing with almost all of Amo's books. You can get them in hardcover, which a lot of indie authors don't offer hardcover. It's almost exclusively trade paperback. You can get them in hardcover. However, caveat, they do not come with dust jackets. It's literally a printed hardcover. No dust jacket. So if you're expecting to get a pretty Barnes & Noble-esque style hardcover with a pretty dust jacket that goes up, no. This is printed by Amazon. And you know, Amazon's full of cheap bastards. And you're going to get just a printed hardcover book. No dust jacket. Okay. Allegedly, this book has 310 pages. I can't I can't call Amazon a liar, even though almost certainly they are. But I can't refute it today because I don't own this book in trade paperback. So I read it. I listened and I read on my Kindle. So I don't have the physical book in front of me. So I can't be like, you lying motherfuckers. Okay. All right, cool. So I want to point out, oh God, Amo. I don't know how it's possible for an author. This is literally just, at first I thought, I don't think I like her writing style. You know how you go through stages and you read an author and you think to yourself at first, okay, I don't think this is a good writer. I don't think she's a good writer. And then you go, maybe it's not that she's not a good writer. Maybe she's just not, I don't like the way she writes. I don't like her writing style. And then you go, maybe it's not that I don't like her writing style. Maybe I don't like the way she plots books. And you go through like these scenarios in your head where you're trying to pin down what it is about this book or the way that this author writes that drives you crazy. Or that you're trying to figure out why they are the way they are, right? Or why they write the way they write. You're trying to find an explanation to accurately describe to your bookish friends what this author's writing style is like. Okay. Amo's writing style is, she literally gives you nothing. And I don't mean she literally gives you nothing as in it's boring, because that's not the case. But as in she doesn't give you any hints as to the larger plot going on for the first 80% of the book. And then the last 20% of the book, fuck, I hurt my hand when I did that, but it's accurate. Because that's how she plots books. Amo writes dark romance almost exclusively. There are a lot of triggering scenarios in her books. Because of that, there's a lot of suspense. There's a lot of there's just a lot of dark shit. There's a lot of plot twists. There's a lot of things that you think you know, but you don't know. You don't know, right? Okay. And because of that, she literally crams the plot down your throat in the last 15-20% of the book, to the point where you spend 80% of the book going, I have no fucking clue what's going on. Like, I'm not bored. I'm still in it. I want to know what's happening. And like, I'm with these two characters. Like, I'm following along. You hit the 80% mark, and then all hell breaks loose. And you're literally from 80% to 100%, this is your face. What? Oh my God, what? Oh my God, what? That's your face for 20% of the book. That's how Amo writes. So when people ask me, what's her writing style like? That's what I tell them. That I can't explain it in any other way that's more accurate, that I can think of that's more accurate. So I don't think that when people say, oh, I don't think Amo is a good writer. No. I don't think that it's not that she's a bad writer. I don't think it's that. I think it's that you don't like the way she plots her books. Because it's definitely the way she plots her books that fucks you up. That's what fucks you up. Okay? I want to show you very quickly. This is my reading journal. Yes, I have my reading journal. This is my reading journal. And this was what I wrote for. Usually, I'll fill up this page because this is my notes for the book. In this case, I filled up this page and then had to tape in an additional page because I ran out of space. Because even though there was 80% of no plot, the last 20% was so much that I had to take up more space than what they gave me in my reading journal. So, 11 minutes in, plus whatever time I cut out from before. And we're going to try to break this down, even though I read it a month ago. Okay, let's go. Let's do it. Tea to wet my whistle. I have switched. This is totally irrelevant. No one will care. I have switched the sugar that was in my tea for Splenda, and I want to die because it tastes absolutely disgusting. It's better for me, and hopefully I'll lose weight, but I want to die because this is the absolute worst. But I still need to wet my whistle, so. Okay. So, let's get into it. I'm going to untape. Oh, I just ripped the paper. That's good. I'm going to untape the extra piece of paper that I have taped, so I can reference it at the end, because that's the last bit of the plot on that piece. Okay, so this book revolves around a girl named Madison. She is the main female character. She has recently moved to this new place. She's starting a new school. It's like a prep school. Very elite, very highfalutin, very stuck up, if you know what I mean. Her dad is a philandering piece of shit. Let's just say it that way. He has just married wife number 3, I think. If my notes are correct, he's married for the 3rd time. He has just gotten married for the 3rd time, if I'm not mistaken. And her mom killed herself after murdering her dad's last girlfriend. So, yeah, there's some dark shit in her past, and she got some demons, you know what I'm saying? So Madison is kind of a morose, withdrawn type character. Her new stepmom appears to be a nice lady, doting high society type, but still doting. You know, for all intents and purposes, she seems nice. Madison has just found out that she has a stepbrother, her same age, in the same grade, and who also goes to the same school. She gets to school and learns that apparently the school is run by a group of dudes known as the EKC, the Elite Kings Club. Who are they? We don't know. They're just a bunch of super rich assholes who treat everybody else like dirt. Okay. Tale as old as time. Okay, yeah, we've heard this. Her new stepbrother, Nate, is one of them. Nate treats her decently. I won't say he's nice because there are some serious boundary issues going on there. But I won't say he's mean either because he's not terrible. I liked Nate from the jump. Nate is a cutie patootie. I also had a thing for what Amo describes and is pushing you towards as the bad boy of the bunch. A guy named Bishop, who, for all intents and purposes, does not speak much to anybody else, and glares a lot. And he's the bad boy, right? So on her first day of school, or thereabouts, she not only meets the EKC, but she also meets a girl named Tatum. Tatum appears to be very flighty, very what you would think of as like the airheaded bimbo of the school, and who you would assume would be like a mean girl, but she's not. She seems to be lonely. Her parents are also very rich and frequently leave her alone at home so they can go gallivant around the world. And so she's just there by herself. And she's apparently, like, she basically latches herself on to Madison as soon as she gets there. Tatum is privy to basically all the gossip. She's a gossip monger, if I've ever seen one. She basically gives her the lowdown on the EKC, who's who. I can't for the life of me remember all of their names, so don't even fucking ask me. Bishop is, he spends pretty much the entire time of every interaction that they have just staring at her. Madison, not Tatum. He spends the entire time staring at Madison. There's Brantley, who, for all intents and purposes, appears to hate her intensely for some unknown reason. There's several of them. I forget how many, but there's a good handful. And I don't remember their names. I'm sorry. As the series goes along, I'm sure I'll start to memorize, but as of right now, I don't. Nate, Bishop, I think there's one named Cash. I can't remember the rest. Anyway, so Tatum and her become fast friends. They go to the mall and they run into this girl, Tilly. Tilly goes to the local public school, but she also appears to have a good amount of knowledge about like the gossip of the local, you know, like who's who of the local schools. And between the three of them, they form like a trifecta of friendship. Okay. Tilly invites them to a party. They go. She finds out about a girl that Bishop apparently used to love, who no one has seen in a long time. Apparently this girl Kales, her mom was like a junkie, and Bishop tried to save her from that life, and it did not work. And she also became a junkie, and then she just disappeared. So it's like a topic no one speaks about, but is very sus. So she gets that little tidbit of gossip from Tatum. I can't remember if she gets it from Tatum or Tilly. I can't remember, but she gets that gossip from them. So Bishop is very quickly shaping up to be like ultimate bad boy material, right? Yeah. Tatum, one night Tatum comes over for a sleepover. They're having like a little girls' night, right? She wakes up, Madison wakes up at 3 a.m. She gets the call from Nate saying that him and the guys are stranded and they need a ride. She's pissed, but obviously she's not going to leave him hanging. So she gets in her car and she drives with his directions, drives out to this deserted area. While she's driving, the line goes dead. He stops talking. And she literally almost runs into 10 hooded figures on the road. Like, in hoodies. 10 dudes. She's drugged from her car and interrogated, like savagely interrogated with questions about, like, has she ever been there before? And all of these things that she has no idea what the fuck they're talking about. So she's at a loss and she's freaking out. But at the same time, she's pissed because she's holding her own. She's not letting them, like, just bully her around. They get back in the car. They all load into the car. And she's in the back now with the guys while they question her. And Bishop, out of nowhere, just kisses her. What the fuck? I was like, boy, what you doing? I mean, it was hot. Like, don't get me wrong. I was sitting there and I was like, okay, all right. Where's this going? What's happening? Right? Because at this point, I'm still Team Bishop. I'm like, yeah, bad boy. I love me a fucking bad boy. Right? So they take her back to her house. And they're dropping her off. Her and Nate get dropped off like nothing happened. And that's a frequent trend throughout this book. And if that's one thing that irritated me, that would be it. Was the fact that shit like that would happen to her and then she would just be perfectly fine afterwards. If that was me and you did that to me, I would be raising hell. Like, there's no fucking way that you'd be dragging me through the woods 1 minute and then the next morning I'd be making you pancakes or some shit. No. Go fuck yourself. Are you joking? You're not about to fucking traumatize me. You're gonna fucking traumatize me? And then you want me to make you a grilled cheese? No. Fuck off. That was, if there's one thing that irritated me about these books, it was that. Like, her ability to just, like, flip a switch and she's perfectly fine with Nate and Bishop. Like, oh yeah, they did that to me, but I'm fine. We're cool again. And I was just like, What, bitch? You did what now? No. No. Sorry, no. Anyway, moving on. That was just my little side rant, sorry. Moving on. So, so Saturday comes, and it's the day of the party. She finds out that Bishop and the guys like to race cars on the side. They have like this side thing where they like race cars. Like a Fast and the Furious type situation. She's not supposed to be there. She's not supposed to know about that. But she does, and she finds out, and she goes. There is this guy that's at the school that's trying to get in her pants. Fuck, what is his name? What the fuck is his name? I forget. Carter. Okay, so she goes with Carter to the track, or to the place where they're racing, which automatically puts Bishop in a little state, because he don't like that. Like, he's already proprietary towards her for some reason. And why? Because you kissed me in the back of a fucking van or the back of an SUV or whatever? Well, yeah, over that shit. Staking your claim. So Bishop basically like tears her away from Carter and is like, no, you're gonna ride with me in my car while I race. And she does. And after the race, he takes her with him while he goes to meet some mysterious guys in like a parking garage, to do like some kind of pickup drop-off type situation of something very sneaky, very suspect. And the guy that he's meeting looks at her through the windshield very creepily. And after that, they go back to his house. And the rest of the guys show up there. They have like this meeting, this clandestine meeting behind closed doors, the rest of the EKC or whatever. She ends up falling asleep. He takes her back home where they promptly have sex. And then he tells her that the guys made a pact, basically, not to do anything with her. Fuck's sake. Well, you broke that. You broke that, boy. So shortly after that, Carter invites her to go camping with them. Like a bunch of the kids from the school are going on this camping trip, and she agrees to go. Of course, obviously, the boys, the guys from the EKC are going. And they continue to mess with her throughout this camping trip. She gets like these phone calls while she's out shopping. She goes shopping at the mall, and she gets like a phone call with like an automated voice that is basically telling her that she's going to be dead soon. And it's like riddles and shit about like some game getting ready to begin. It's all very weird. And this is right around the time that Bishop basically gives her the brush off, kind of, and tells her that there can never be more between them besides what's already happened, which is basically just like sex. So he's saying that, but then also he doesn't want her to have anything to do with Carter. And any guy that looks at her sideways, he's wanting to beat the shit out of. So your actions don't really match up with your words there, bro. So she continues to get these weird messages and phone calls with these riddles and threats for a while. She starts going to the library at the school. The librarian that works there is also the whole vibe with the school in general is weird. It's very like secret society type vibe. The librarian who works there has a very like shrouded in mystery type past. While she's in the library, she runs across this book. It appears to be like a diary of some kind, written by this woman who was like the wife of like a founding father of the town or something like that. And it's very detailed. And it's like detailing her life and like the formation of some secret society or secret club of the founding families of the town. She asks the librarian if she can check out the book. The librarian tells her no, that you can't check out this book. It's in the restricted section, like in Harry Potter. It's a restricted book. You're not allowed to take that home. But you can come back and you can look at it and you can whatever, anytime you want. And she's like, okay, cool. So she's infatuated with this book. Like she's reading it. She keeps going back and reading it. And it's describing how the main founding member of this society would not allow any females to be born into the society. So if you were married and you had like a girl child, the child would be killed or dealt with, right? Okay. But they were not allowed to be raised into the society. It was like a men's only type club, obviously. So the librarian makes some weird comment about the book not being a diary at all, that it was the woman's suicide letter or suicide note, which I found very strange, and it wasn't really explained in that particular instance what that meant. I'm hoping that later on in the series that does get further explained, because I was kind of like, what the fuck are you talking about? Again, you spend 80% of the book going, what the fuck are you talking about? So add that to the list of what the fuck are you talking about, right? So she gets back from the camping trip. Keep in mind, her and Bishop continue on the camping trip, continue to have sex. They have sex like 2 more times. They get back from the camping trip. Literally 5 minutes later, Bishop is calling her and telling her to pack a bag that all of them have to leave. And she's like, what are you talking about? He does the same thing with Nate. He tells Nate, pack a bag, we gotta go. She comes down with a bag and finds that all of the members of the EKC are piling in to drive to this cabin that's like way out yonder somewhere. And they're basically hiding out from somebody. The cabin is about like 5 hours away. He gives her some vague explanation about, it turns out the guy that he was meeting the night that they were at the racetrack, or the night they went to the races. The guy that he met that stared at her creepily through the front window of the car was his dad. His dad thinks that she's someone else, claims to recognize her, and thinks that she's someone else. and they have to get her out of town for her own safety. So essentially the EKC, the club, is now protecting her. And as a unit, they're removing her from town. He's doing this while he tries to work out with his father that she's not who his dad thinks she is, which again, all very vague and not really explained what's going on. While they're at the cabin, he reveals to her that her father is not the squeaky clean businessman that she thinks he is. That her father is basically in league with his father and has been money laundering and getting into some shit. So shortly after he tells her this, he speaks to his dad on the phone and clears up the situation and says that it's safe for them to return back home. So they leave and they go back home. By this time, the librarian has let her borrow the book. She's been reading it in her downtime, like one chapter at a time throughout the book that we're reading, our book. In our book, she's reading her book. So it's at this point that it's fully explained about how the woman in the library book, in this woman's diary, how she gave birth to a second child that was a girl, and her husband, I forget his name, was it Humphrey, took the child and said that it would be disposed of because it was a girl child, and girl children were not allowed to be born into their society, or would not be kept. And at that point in our book, it's explained that that's a thing. So while she's reading the book, and it's describing the area where they go, where the husband goes to dispose of the child's body, or the daughter. The area that it describes is eerily similar to an area that she saw when she was on the camping trip with Bishop. He took her to a cave. When they were on the camping trip, he took her to a cave that had like a rock, and there was like it was very ritualistic in nature. And she's now thinking that place that he took me is the same place from this book. She wants to question him about it. So she grabs Tatum and she says, "Come with me to Bishop's house. I want to go ask him some questions." Tatum's like, "Okay, sure." They go to Bishop's house. I can't remember, I think they scale the wall. They don't go through the regular security channels. They get into his house. So she walks in. Tatum gets scared, like as they're creeping into the house, and she falls back a little bit. Madison does not. She continues on, and she's like, "I'm gonna go find Bishop." They hear something like underneath in like a basement area, creepily. She sneaks down. She walks in on Bishop, Nate, and the rest of the EKC standing around a dead body, the body of one of their classmates, Allie. She was a bitch to begin with. We didn't like her, but still, she's now dead with her throat slit, and she's on the floor in front of all of them, and they're just standing around like nothing. And Madison freaks the fuck out. She runs outside, where she promptly runs into her father, bumps into him, drops the book, where it falls open to a chapter that describes something called the Silver Swan, which is essentially a girl child that is born into one of the original 9 families that is raised and that is allowed to be raised to full maturity. She would be known as the Silver Swan. Madison now recognizes that she is the Silver Swan and that her entire life is basically a lie. And that all of the boys in the EKC come from the major families. And so does she. She was born into one of the original families, and then she was whisked away and hidden and until she came of age, and then she was brought back into the fold for a bigger purpose that she doesn't know about, and obviously neither do we. But she now knows her father was in on everything, whatever's going on. And because he's standing right next to Bishop's dad in Bishop's dad's driveway. So she freaks out and she says, fuck all y'all. And she jumps in her car with Tatum, and they peel out and they disappear. They go to the bank, and they're like, we out. And they run. And that's the end of the book. And yeah, that's the end of that. So, as I said, the entire plot, as you can clearly see, trivial events for the most part for the first 80%, and then the last 20%, revelation after revelation after revelation after revelation. The end. So, for the rating for this book, it's so fucking difficult to give this book a rating, because as the same way I was with Sicko, I came away from this book thinking to myself, did I even like it? And I think to myself, I must have, because I want to read the next one, because I want to know what happens. And I want to know, you know, what goes on with the characters. And I'm invested. And like, that's the mark of a good author, right? They get you invested. You don't want to DNF the book. You're invested. I want to know what happens. So obviously I must have liked it, right? But with Amo, there's always that little percentage that goes, I don't know. Did I? Like, she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing when she's fucking with your brain. She's literally taking a fork and she's scrambling your shit up. Like, she's like in there just going with the fork. So, for the rating for the book, I think I would probably give it off the cuff, because I didn't think about this before I sat down to record. I just wanted to pump out this review. I think if I, off the cuff, to give it a rating, I would probably give it an 8.5. I'm invested. I've already started book 2. I'm halfway through. I'm going to continue it. I need to see where this goes. I'm invested now. However, I will tell you that in book 2, I have already switched from Team Bishop to Team Nate. Because Bishop is a dick. And not like in the hot alpha dick way, just in a dick way. Like, he does some shit that makes me super pissed off. And maybe it's just because I just like Nate. Nate is just more endearing. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Anyway, for the rating for the book, I'll give it an 8.5. Would I recommend this series to other people? If you like dark romance, sure. If you like psychological thrillers, fuck yes. If you like something that's going to mind fuck you, yes. Absolutely. Go for it. That's literally all I can say. If you're looking for something that's dark, twisting and turning, and you got nothing right now, pick this up, give it a shot, and see how you like it. Again, I did a lot of audio, and maybe it would translate differently reading it. Who knows? I don't know, maybe. But yeah, I would say give it a shot. If you like dark romance and if you like suspense and psychological twists and turns, yeah, I would recommend it. I think that's about it. Do I have anything else? I'm sure I missed tons of stuff. I'm sure I forgot. I'm sure I forgot tons of stuff. Anyway, so yeah. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you like me and you like my channel, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. And if you'd like, you can follow me on social media. I do have a members only Facebook group, an Instagram, and a Twitter devoted to this channel. Candace, what the fuck is wrong with you? Answer a lot. I do have a members only Facebook group, an Instagram, and a Twitter devoted to this channel. I will link them all in the description box below, and I'll put a little banner on the screen for you to see. And yeah, I really thank you guys so much for watching and sticking with me for another video, and I'll see you in my next one. I love you so much. Bye. You may have noticed, side note, you may have noticed. You may have noticed that I'm going to kill the rabbit today. JK. He does this on purpose. Literally. He has a water thing all day long. Do you think he uses it? No. He waits until I walk in here. Okay. We're going to pause really quick. Okay. What the fuck were we talking about? I don't even remember. Okay. So, here we go. Let's get some eyeliner out of the corners of my eyes. Okay. Where the hell was I? Right. So. What? Yes. No, I'll be there in a minute. I get no peace. Okay. Anyway, so this series. There's a fucking rabbit hair on my lip. What the hell? So Tatum tells, bless you. Of course. Of course you would. Okay. Holy fuck's sake. Okay. Holy balls. Holy balls, holy balls, holy balls.